tagged you. I'm going to go and make it public. It'll go live and I'll talk.
And all I have to do is share your Facebook post. They can click on that to go in, right?
It's all they have to do is look at your page right now in a second. 1 second.
Oh,
right now on your page, we're live and we're live on my page.
Oh, fun. Okay, excellent.
And then later tonight when we're done, I'll put a bunch of gook on there and then you can reshare it if you want to. That'd be awfully nice.
Of course.
You know what, Facebook? You are so lucky, all of you who are coming in to watch this, which is right now 0. I have the kind of fans, Richard Chassler. I have the kind of fans that come after the fact. You know, when I have a funeral, it's going to be dope. My fans will be there at my funeral, but generally they aren't there with live, but they'll come and look at it later. Just so you know, don't be disheartened by my fans.
I'm not. You have great fans.
I do. I'm really thankful for them. They're not Facebook live fans. They're after the fact. Okay, tonight on Comic Spot, y'all got yourself a real treat. You know, Comic Spot, just a little thingamajig. Comic Spot was started so this Army veteran over here in this little square here could vet out veterans of comedy. And tonight, you have yourselves a veteran of comedy. None of this bogus BS I've been producing with people who are comics calling themselves comedians, who aren't making any money, who are saying that they're making it. Now you got somebody here who's a legend, okay? You know, him, Sinbad, you know, Rich Voss, you got people that are legends, Stephen Pearl, and then you got all the rest of us that are trying to act like we're getting booked left and right. And, you know, then you got Richard Chassler. So tonight, let me read you his intro because he deserves a proper introduction if anybody does. So here we go. This comedian is no newcomer. And by the way, I rarely look at this stuff because I want to be authentic in the moment when I'm reading it. I want to get shocked. I want my granny panties to be shocked off of me when I'm reading this stuff. So, and they're flannel. You're welcome for the visual. This comedian is no newcomer to the business and no small talent. He started doing stand-up back during the comedy boom in the 1980s, you guys. 1980s, after doing a short stint on the NBC soap opera Santa Barbara. He's appeared off-Broadway to rave reviews. He has appeared in 2 Academy Award-nominated films, The Insider and Hitchcock, and has worked with the likes of Al Pacino and Helen Mirren. Okay, I now need a cold shower. Al Pacino in any sentence? He's a published writer, an award-winning film director, and he's a touring headliner, having performed here in the U.S. and abroad. When he is not out headlining his own shows, he tours and opens for benchwarmers like Nick Swardson. He has toured with or opened for Jeff Ross, John Pinette, George Wallace, and he spent 5 years touring with his old best friend, Mitch Hedberg, who actually opened for Richard when he broke out into comedy. Please welcome to Comic Spot for you tonight. On your Comic Spot, you gotta welcome him, Richard Chassler. Woo! Now we did it. Hi.
How are you, Lynn?
I'm great, thank you. Talk to me about where you're at in the world right now. You're in your home in LA, right?
I am at my, I'm in the hunkering down in the mansion in LA. That's right.
How did you get that backdrop with asbestos in your ceilings?
Oh, that's, you have to pay extra for the asbestos. They'll give you the flat one, but if you want the cottage cheese asbestos, you got to pay. That's like $1.99 through iTunes.
That's awesome. What kind of wine are you drinking?
Tonight I am drinking this is 2008 Coquelicot, which is the winery in like just outside of Santa Barbara. And this is a Black Oak Vineyard Syrah. And it's quite lovely.
Wonderful. I have never been to a vineyard near Santa Barbara or anywhere up there. Never.
Well, we'll have to do a show up there.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll have to do a show up there.
I want you, you are the master of the snooty snoot fuckity fuck that you put out. You do these wine tasting, talking things, and you've come on here before to talk about wine and how to appreciate it. And talk to us about the specifics of the wine you're drinking tonight, which is called something or other.
Syrah.
Syrah.
That's
okay.
the grape. It's called Syrah.
Syrah.
And so this specifics about this wine. This is a Central Coast California Syrah. So it's going to have like very rich, deep, dark color to it. It's really dark. See that? You can't really see through it like a Pinot Noir. Syrah is a very rich, deep grape, very dark garnet color, almost black, really plummy. But this has got 12 years of age on it, so it's got a little bit of secondary flavors we call, like that's where the mocha and the tar and the pencil shavings and all the snooty snoot bullshit comes in, is after it ages a little bit. So you've got the, like that blackberry pie and, the bramble and all the fruit on there, but then you've also got like some tar and some, smells a little bit like camphor, like when you rub that liniment oil on your elbow, like minty almost.
When I drink wine, until you came along and enriched me, I would just open a bottle of wine any way I could. I'd crack it on the table. If I couldn't get the corkscrew thing working, I just crack the top and I just slug it down and never. Talk to us about tasting wine.
Oh, please. It's like everyone's got their own little method, but the idea is that I can't believe you're doing this to me. The idea is to let the wine cover your entire tongue. Your tongue is actually cut into 4 different tasting quadrants, which a lot of people don't know. And each area of your tongue is sensitive to something different, whether it's sweet, salty, umami, right? So the idea is to get the wine all over your mouth and tongue. That's why people do that, like that little bong thing, where it sounds like they're smoking a bong.
So would you say that people who know how to enjoy all their quadrants of their mouth are better in bed?
Well, I don't know. That depends. If you don't like salty. But I drink pineapple juice. So wait a minute. Oy vey. You took it there.
Now you've been tasting wine for a while. Why is it you stay away from hard liquor?
Who said I stay away from hard liquor?
Next question. So you're snooty about wine.
And
You're not snooty about hard liquor?
I like scotch.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm
very snooty about that. I like the Ralph's blue stripe with the white label and the blue stripe on it. That's the good stuff.
Nice.
No, I'm kidding. That's plain wrap scotch. Yeah, I like scotch. I like, as far as hard liquor goes, I'll drink anything if it gets you buzzed. Especially now.
Oh my God. I don't know how people are doing it without drugs and alcohol. Seriously. Me
neither.
This is really something.
Me neither. I've been using both.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like if I didn't have my wonderful sense of humor, because I don't do drugs.
And if I didn't have my wonderful sense of wait a minute, hold on a second. See how that works? I didn't even write that joke. That joke wrote itself.
You know what? Trying to do any comedy in front of you is like trying to stand in front of you naked and tell you not to look at my body.
What do you mean?
Whenever I dare to say anything to you that is comedy related, like if I were to tell you my opening joke, it's so embarrassing because you have all this rich experience of thousands of different shows in front of thousands, and I've got like 7 years of BS of
So-
open mics.
So change it. First of all, you should never feel that way. You should feel more ridiculous about going on in front of your peers at your level because you don't want them stealing your shit. You know, me, you should want to have me watch your stuff so you can then say, what do you think? Why doesn't this joke work? I've done it 20 times. Why doesn't it work? And then I've seen it. So I can tell you this joke isn't working because, you know, what a lot of people don't get at your level and below.
There is a below.
Fuck yeah, there's a below. You're funny.
Thank you.
Is that jokes work like a car engine or a golf swing? There are mechanics to how the joke works, and the parts have to fit together correctly in order for the joke to actually work. Otherwise, it clunks along. You know, and you're like, why can't I get, is it too wordy? Does the punchline not make, is the punchline in the wrong place? Like, there are literal mechanics to doing jokes.
Yes. Now you saw me do comedy. You know, let's get to the important part. Me.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I was the guest. Go ahead.
I'm doing my Jiminy Glick impression.
That's fine. It's nice to have you on my show. Let's talk about me. I'm just here to hold up the cue card. You're just going to talk for 45 minutes. I have zero purpose here. I'm going to bring coffee to the camera guy. I'm going to scratch Chad the intern's ass, and I'm going to hold up the cue card. And that's pretty much all I'm doing here. This is really not comic spot. It's Linda's spot with a comedian.
What'd you say your name was?
Hilarious.
I've been watching too much Jiminy Glick.
Oh, he's fucking great, though.
Isn't that the most, that is such precious gold. Oh my gosh. I want to do an impression of him fucking around in his chair, trying to get in it with his ass showing.
Why? You should do the impression of his mother.
Really?
Well, that makes more sense. Aren't you female?
Last time I checked.
Right. Well, okay. So let's hope you haven't been to the hospital late at night yet, you know, with $300 and a border crossing pass.
Yes, I think it's funny.
Yeah, you do the mom. You could pull that off easier than pulling him off.
Now he has done an impression of his mom.
Probably. Haven't we all?
Yeah. What's your favorite impression?
That I do or that other people do?
You.
Well, you know, I have this thing I'm doing in my act right now. At the end, I'm closing my hour with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro in The Raging Bull.
Wow.
Muted. So I'm doing that, and I like that. I don't know. I do like Brando. I can do some people. They're who? Brando? What? Yeah, I don't do any influencers. Just let me get that out of the way. You know, I can do about, here's my impression of 30 influencers when they're asked a question.
Oh my gosh.
Siri, what's 2 + 2? My impression.
I came up with a new impression that I do.
Okay.
It's you remember the scene in Sound of Music?
When she fucked the Nazi general?
No, better.
Better.
Remember when the Von Trapp family singers won the contest at the festival?
Of course, that's at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Of course.
And they called them out on stage and they didn't
So
come out.
long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, say goodnight to you and you and you and you and you.
So that's a song, and then they tallied the votes, and they called out the winner, the runner up and the winner, and they announced, okay, the Von Trapp family, and there were no Von Trapps. They were gone. That I can do the impression of that Von Trapp family, all 7 of them.
Not being on stage?
Yeah.
So this is my impression of the Von Trapp family after they escaped.
Hilarious. Yes, that's how I should say it.
That is really funny.
Thank you. I can also do Billy Crystal.
Let me see.
Oh, sorry, I got it confused. His Aunt Clara in Boca Raton on the phone with Billy Crystal.
There you go. By the way, that's really funny.
Thank you.
That's very funny. Do you do that on stage?
Yeah, but I did it in Portland, Oregon, so not a true test.
Portland's not a bad substrate.
They didn't like me.
So maybe
they have time to change it. I'm going to make them sorry.
They weren't ready for you.
Yeah.
And you might not have been ready for them.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't swinging for the fences back then.
Never swing for the fences. Just hit the ball. Until you're capable of literally going out and saying, I got 5 minutes, I'm taking no prisoners, I'm kicking everybody in the first 5 rows in the face. Until you can actually control yourself on stage and know how to do that, don't think about swinging for the fences, because what happens when you do? You strike out. Just make contact with the ball.
I love that.
Okay? You want a high on-base percentage right now. That's what you want. Okay? Don't worry about hitting home runs. That's the mistake that a lot of aspiring comedians make. And they don't know what it means to kill. And then they think, oh, I killed. I was swinging for the fence. The only thing you killed was everybody's love of comedy. I've never met an aspiring up-and-coming comedian in the last 15 years that doesn't always kill. Oh, kill. I just did 90 seconds in the belly room. I killed.
It's so funny because it's true.
That's why it's funny. I'm not making this up. I'm not writing jokes to fill the time. I'm doing an impression of everybody that goes, oh my God, you're never going to believe this. I opened for Jeff Ross. Okay, you didn't open for Jeff Ross. You were doing an open mic. Jeff Ross walked in and they gave him time.
Yeah.
Like,
they should have a class. First of all, they shouldn't let you be a parent unless you do get a manual. And I'm not talking about a Hispanic man. And,
okay.
And they should never let you be a comedian unless you know some of the rules of respect.
Well, the thing is that my big deal is that I never said, oh, I'm a comedian when I was first starting out. You know, I was an actor. I had been on a soap opera. I'm an actor and I'm trying to do stand-up, you know, but I would never say, oh, I'm a comedian. But nowadays, people go to one fucking open mic and now they go, I'm a comedian. No, you're not. Fight me on this, motherfuckers.
At what
when
point
you go to med school on day one, that doesn't make you a doctor. In fact, your third year in med school doesn't make you a doctor. Sorry, takes 10 fucking years to become an actual stand-up comedian.
Yep, it does. What do you think about the comics that try to take the shortcuts?
I don't. I don't think it. Look, this is an art form, man. This is a very, very difficult, complicated art form. There are no shortcuts. So I don't even know what you're referring to.
People that come into comedy and they're like, I want to take a class. And when do I get my Netflix special?
Your next special.
Netflix.
Well, first of all, It takes years to develop an act in order to do that. Okay. And I know, oh, what about so-and-so? She was only doing it for 2.5 years. She sucked someone's dick. Sorry. But the truth of the matter is that most people you see don't just go on stage and hit overnight. It just doesn't work that way. Comedy is so hard and takes so long, and you got to go on the road to get good. And people don't even want to go on the road. Yet this generation think that if you go on the road, that's bad. Oh, you're a road comedian. You mean I'm a working comedian?
I'll go on the road with any guy that doesn't want me to go down on him.
Well, you ain't gonna get any work. I'm kidding. You get a little. Actually, no, I was gonna go the other way with it. I was going, oh, you'll get plenty of work then. But yeah, they don't want to do the work. They think because you can write the word headliner on a meme, you're a headliner. Nope.
No.
The headliner is the guy whose name is on the marquee that people actually come in to see. It's also the same person they walk out on.
Wow.
You want to be a headliner? I guarantee you're going to lose more people than you get.
Because you take the risks.
The show's yours. Your name's on the marquee. You think you're a headliner, you think you can draw, and then you think you can keep them listening to you for an hour after someone before you did 30 minutes and the person before them did 15. So you think you're a strong enough comedian or aspiring comedian to go on stage and attempt to do 60 minutes of shittily written material after two people already drained the crowd of energy?
Yep. No, I don't think I'm at that. No way in hell. I'm a guest spot right now.
Headlining is so hard. It really is. In fact, the best spot when you're working on the road, the best spot on the show is the feature act.
Feature? Why
Yeah.
not the host? I just want to be a host.
You got that. Well, you can be a host and you can grow up to be the world's greatest host. Talk to David Gee. But if you really want to know, the middle act, the feature, that's the best spot on the bill. It's the sweet spot. You have zero responsibility, none. All you got to do is you're 30 and that's it. You don't have to host the show. You don't have to keep the energy up. You don't have to set the tone. You don't have to remember to do announcements. You don't have to remember introductions. You don't have to headline the show, which means you're not responsible for the ticket sales. You don't have to work through the check drop 40 minutes in. You don't have to worry about selling merch if you don't want to. You don't have to worry about keeping people in the seats. You don't have to worry about doing morning radio. You don't have to worry about anything. The feature act, he shows up. Please welcome Bob Jones. Bob comes out, does 30. Bob leaves. Now, you ready for your headliner? The feature act is the most, it's the sweetest spot on the bill, especially when you're developing. If you look at it from the right angle, you're like, it's a down comforter for me, man. All I got to do is worry about killing. That's it. Just go out and do the thing. That's all you got to worry about.
So the host, you've talked at great length with me on here before about hosting.
Mm-hmm.
And just how come aren't you teaching a class on hosting, featuring, and headlining?
It's a good question. I am thinking a lot of people over the past year since we've been, actually, it really started 2 years ago. People were telling me when I was in Portland at Harvey's, they were like, you should teach.
Yes.
You have a way of breaking it down so it's understandable, you should teach the craft, And, I don't like to, I'm a good teacher. I used to teach acting, but the idea of teaching to me always just rings Woody Allen in my head. Those who can't do teach, those who can't teach Jim. You know what I mean? But right now there's no work. I'm not on the road. And the idea of teaching is very interesting to me. And the reason why it's interesting to me is because I can't stand the state of the art form right now.
Yes.
You know, and
Great reason.
And I can't stand listening to people who don't know what they're doing, who have been doing it incorrectly for the past 3 and 4 and 5 years, stand around pontificating and talking, oh, you know what you should do? Oh, you know what I do? You don't even have 15 minutes. You've been doing it 5 years and you don't have 15 killer crushing tried and true minutes. Like, it's because the industry is the way that newcomers view the industry and the art form in relationship to the industry is different than we did up through the 80s and early 90s. That's why there's no more Friars Club. Because this generation and the generation before them aren't interested in the history of stand-up comedy or the art of stand-up comedy or what comedy as a thing. All they want to do is get their fucking face on the goddamn fucking show. And there I am performing here and I'm headlining doing 7 minutes. Everyone else is doing 5, but I'm doing 7. I'm the headliner.
Did you see my sarcastic post last night?
No, what'd it say?
I'm headlining 7 minutes.
It's hilarious. By the way, it's not even sarcastic. That's more you jamming everyone else who thinks, oh, I'm a headliner. I'm doing 7, but everyone else is doing 4. I'm the headliner.
Everybody else was doing 7.
Anybody who has the nerve, anyone who has the nerve to post that, I promise you, is going to eat it for 5 of the 7.
Totally.
Sorry.
Why does the comedy industry put out shows with 20 people on the lineup? It's a mic.
First of all, it's not the industry. It's the mic. It's the person producing the mic. It's difficult to sit through. It's hard to watch. It's too many people. I understand the love of community and I want to provide a space for as many people to perform, but at the same time, you want to deliver something palatable. You know, fuck, anyone can put on a cavalcade of comedy. 4.5 hours of stand-up comedy with no jokes by people who don't know how to write them. Tune in, $10.
Oh my gosh.
I'm doing a show tonight, 6 headliners. The show's 1 hour.
So how much time does everybody get? 10 minutes or
everyone's going to do? Everyone will do 10 to 12, and the host will do the rest, and that's it. 1 hour show, 6 comics, all headliners. Johnny Cardinale, it's his show. Then I'm doing a show after that at 8 o'clock. Oh no, I'm doing a 7 o'clock show for Gary Robinson, then the 8 o'clock show for Johnny. But the show for Johnny's got 6 guys on it, and it is literally a 1 hour show. You don't run your time. You're pro. You watch the fucking light. You know how to do it, and everybody does it. Boom, boom, boom. 1 hour, in and out. 6.
How come didn't I get invited on it?
I posted it. Oh, you mean to be on it?
You know I'm messing with you.
I know. You know, I love you so much. Like, I don't love slamming you, but I like slamming you. But I was going to come back with perhaps you didn't turn your hearing aid up. I said headliners.
A real headliner, not a fake one. Got it.
No, you look. Sorry. If you're smart.
I'm sick and tired of baby comics, and I'm in that category compared to you, that think that they're at the same level as you. Aren't you sick of it?
I'm offended by it. I'm not sick of it. I'm fuck you, suck a fart out of my asshole, offended by it. Good. Literally offended by it. They don't know what it takes to be able to do this. They have no idea how many fucking hours in a car, driving through states you've got in a snowstorm with some guy next to you don't know who smells like garlic and he doesn't smoke weed and he listens to classical music. We're going to get to Greenbelt soon. They have no idea. They have no idea how many fucking hours of eating shit as a host you have to go through. They don't know because they're not willing to put the work in. So I'm offended by it.
Haven't you sacrificed a lot in your life? Like
Everything.
you put all your money on this.
Everything.
You have homes. You could stay in your home and be in your home, but you pay for this home and you're on the road when you're paying for this home, and I'm paying for other places to stay.
Well, because then you come, well, no, I don't pay for places to stay when I'm on the road.
Good.
No, nobody's supposed to, unless you're on an off night. But with the nights you work, you get housing. You get a room. You know.
But like you have a home.
Yes.
When you're on the road, you're paying for this and you're not there taking advantage of it.
That is correct. If you have been doing stand-up comedy less than 20 years, you should be on the road 40 weeks a year.
Okay.
35, 40. Because if you have a job, how many weeks a year do you work? It's got to be your job. If you want to say, I'm this, then you have to be that. You can't say, I'm a sculptor and own the sculpting tools and read magazines about sculpting and buy a little thing of clay and play with it, but then it goes dry. That doesn't make you a sculptor. And hanging out at a comedy club, pontificating about what you think the art form is about with zero knowledge, and rubbing elbows with headliners and smoking cigarettes and weed, that doesn't make you a stand-up comic. It doesn't happen by osmosis. And by the way, for all of you fuckers who are listening to me, I know, look it up.
So when are you taking me on the road?
When you get 15 that kills. Every time, start to finish, tried and true.
I got 8 that kills, but I haven't tried it around the United States yet.
Well, the difference between where you live and going on the road is the very first time you go out of town, and I say out of town, I'm talking about out of your home state.
Yep.
Okay. Not LA to San Francisco. Okay. I'm talking about out of town.
Yeah.
You're going to figure out very quickly how much of your act is going to play universally and how much of it you wrote for people who know what Sepulveda Boulevard is.
What if everybody comes to Vegas and I don't have to go anywhere?
Then you would have a residency somewhere. You'd be Joan Livers.
I want to go on the road. I just can't find some headliner that's Michigan enough to take me on the road.
Because you're not ready yet.
I'm ready to go, and when he feels like it, put me on stage to do a guest spot.
That's too much responsibility for me. If I take someone on the road with me, they need to know how to do their job because I have to worry about doing my job. I can't do my job and your job. I've done that. I've shown up at gigs, no kidding. I showed up at a gig where there was a local disc jockey from the radio station opening act, but the feature didn't show up. Didn't show. The club owner says to me, the feature's not here. Will you do his time? I said, I get his money.
Exactly.
Just like that. And the guy goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm contracted to do X amount of time for X amount of dollars. If you want me to do another half hour, I get that guy's money for the half hour. Not working, and that's how it works. And you got to be able to do that. So when you have 15 that kill, and again, people look at me like, good, he's a dick.
No.
I tell the truth. I tell people things that other people won't, not because I don't want to be friends with them, but because what service am I doing somebody who's trying to learn something by giving them bad information?
Yeah.
You know?
What if you had 2 openers and each of them was as cute as me? And you could woo the crowd into thinking that they're really a comedian and do 7.5 minutes each.
Well, I'm going to answer that in 1 second. That's a 2-part question. First, if I had 2 openers, both as cute as you, I would be off the show. I couldn't compete with that. I mean, look at me. And second part of that question, I would never. Okay, so I got banned from a comedy club in Los Angeles during this pandemic, a club I work regularly that I headlined for, name on the marquee, the whole deal. They banned me because they had me on a Zoom show. And the host of the Zoom show was a guy I had actually met who had hosted a show that I was headlining at this club. And he's not funny. And he's 20 or 21, handsome guy, reminds me of me when I was 20, 21. And he has like 1 million TikTok followers, but 0 jokes. 1 million followers, no punchlines. So I'm headlining this Zoom show and comedian goes, or the spine, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. I'm last, I get up. And because I was in a mood and I was feeling a little ornery, I was going to like touch each comic. Hey, Bob, by the way, blah, 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 moving on. Hey, Bob, right? Now, you think you want to be a stand-up comedian? You better have some thick fucking skin, all right? I don't want to hear all the way home, all right? Well, when I got up, I did my thing and a couple people in the room I knew. So I said, one guy, I said, sounds like Scooby-Doo had sex with a, what do you call the helium balloon, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I said, and by the way, to the MC, Joey, or whatever the fuck your name is, what he was doing is he would literally say, he would go, so, well, it's really rainy this week here in LA. I don't really have a punchline for that, but I'm really good looking, so I guess it doesn't matter. That's what he would say.
That's so offensive.
Hardly, right. So when I got on and I was doing my thing, I'll go, by the way, Joey, the MC, just so you know, but I'm really good. I go, just so you know, you remind me of me. I go, I'd want to really pay you homage. I was 20 when I started doing stand-up. I was on a soap opera. Then I got fired and I started doing stand-up. And I was like you, also a young, handsome guy with great hair and a phenomenal attitude. And the difference between you and me is I had punchlines. Just like that. And I go, but I'm really good looking, so I guess it doesn't matter, is not a punchline. Okay? Just for the record, you gotta have a joke. He fucking went and complained about me, and the booker was in the room, and you weren't operating with a level of camaraderie between comedians that we want to promote.
God.
Really? You mean you don't hire actual comedians? What kind of baby? Here are my feelings, my thing. I didn't have a punchline. Well, listen to your fucking tape back. You don't. And if the truth hurts, you're in the wrong business.
Amen. Amen.
I
tried out for something this last week, and the person running the tryout said, okay, well, first of all, you smile too much. And I'm like, can you read between the lines? You know, like, you're not coming across authentic. Well, maybe because you don't think so. You know, like maybe you don't like people. I literally have a problem. My problem is I smile too much. Now that
do
is.
you address that in your act?
I want to do that. I did.
First 10 minutes. That should be in your 15. The 15 you're working on, that should be one of the things within your first 6 or 7 minutes of your set.
6 to 7 minutes about smiling too much?
No, not 6 or 7 about it. It should be that far up front in your act. Within the first 5 or 6 minutes, you should touch on that. Because the rest of the time, we don't want to be questioning that you're smiling. You see? Nip it in the bud.
Got it.
Okay. My new opening line is, it's nice to be here. My name is Richard Chassler, and my pronouns are I and me. Now you're not going to spend an hour wondering why I come across the way I come across. I just told you.
Yes. It clarifies a lot.
Boom. My pronouns are I and me.
Got it.
It kills, by the way.
Yes.
It really does. A great
What-
joke. I really
Want to
love it.
hear my favorite joke I have while we're talking about me?
Sure. Tell me the favorite.
What did
Okay.
you say your name was? Richard what?
I was going to make a joke just now, but I bit my tongue.
Go ahead.
No.
What's your name?
I was going to say, oh, maybe a Dat Fan. No, excuse me.
My favorite joke, because like this is as close as I'm ever going to get to George Carlin level. Okay. I never claimed to, but this is like just a little bit of George Carlin in this joke. So I love it. So I've gone on stage and said, I have great news for you guys. And they just look at you, you know, and I like to keep them waiting, you know. I go, and the tension builds. You can feel it building. I'm making fun of myself.
Is there a punchline on it? Because if there's not, I'll fix this for you.
Yes.
What's the punchline?
Great news. My parents survived the Holocaust. They're just looking at me like I'm cuckoo. And I go, no, don't get sad. Really, it's great news. It was the Holocaust that did exist.
All right. First of all, it's
Help
a funny
me with
joke.
the joke.
It's a funny joke. All right. What's the opening line?
Great news.
Not great news. You're saying I have great news for you. Can you do it the other way around? Can you say I just got great news?
Okay.
Turns out my parents survived the Holocaust. No, that's not the good news. The good news is it was the one that actually happened. See how easy the joke is? No fat. Setup, punchline, tag.
How many times do I say Holocaust in the joke?
Once.
Okay.
Only once.
Got it.
Only. It's very, very, very hard to sell a Holocaust joke. It's like trying to sell a rape joke. Very difficult. You need to come at it. There's only a very small sliver. It's like in Star Wars where they got to go down into the Death Star and then fire the thing. And it's a very narrow fucking causeway you can do it in. And it has to be from an angle not glorifying the Nazis.
Correct.
So what you're doing with this joke, do you even know what you're doing with this joke? You can say no if you don't. I'll tell you what the joke is doing.
Because I wouldn't fucking know that.
The answer is you're making fun of all the redneck dipshit Trump supporters, moron idiots. There was no Holocaust. That shit never even happened. Sure, World War II, some Jews are going to die, but 6 million? Hell, that never happened. Fuck. Goddamn. I wish it did.
6 million is not enough.
I was
you
working-
got that in your bank account, then I'll tell you what 6 million is not enough for me.
Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. Come talk to me. I got banned from a comedy club because the owner's girlfriend was an anti-Semite. And I got in an argument at the bar with her one night about whether or not the Holocaust existed. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. That was in Michigan, Holly, Michigan. That was way back. That was like 1990 or 91.
Did I tell you that I think Google is, when you Google something, I think it's anti-Semitic.
Why?
Now I'm sounding like Gracie Allen.
Why? Tell us why. I mean, I get here's the setup. Let's have the punchline.
Because I Googled Schindler's List and it brought up swindlers. It did. It really did, Richard.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I would do that joke 10 times and see how it does. Give me 1 second. I don't know about you guys, but I think Google could be a little racist. Definitely anti-Semitic. Ooh, you know? Oh, I know. You're looking at me like, what do you mean? I use Google every day. Well, I went on Google to Google Schindler's List and it came up swindlers. Come on. You're going to tell me it didn't do that on, I don't know. I don't know if it's funny enough to get away with. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
must have known my dad.
There you go. You can save the joke with that. But you're knocking Jewish people when you do that joke.
Yes.
Aren't you Jewish?
Well, then yes, I'm half Jewish.
There's
But
no such thing.
I know. That's why I say it, because I've been hit. I got a half Jewish joke about like that's a lot of pain to tell me there's no such thing as what I am.
No, you're not. You're Jewish. There's no half. One Jewish parent makes you Jewish.
Well, you got these factions of the Jewish people in the 50s in Portland, Oregon that told me the opposite.
Well, let me explain. During World War I in Poland, the Poles were performing pogroms in the Jewish ghettos, right? You know what a pogrom was?
Nope.
So a pogrom was when they would ride into the Jewish ghettos on horseback and they would destroy the fucking little town. They would ride the horses into the houses and destroy everything and rape women. And that was a pogrom. Well, these Jewish women were then having babies, not knowing who the father was. So in the early part of the 20th century, the Jewish High Court ruled that any baby born to a Jewish woman is going to be considered Jewish. That's where the whole, if your mother's Jewish, you're Jewish thing comes from. But the real Jewish law is, even if your father's Jewish and your mother's not, you're fucking Jewish. So there's no such thing as being half Jewish. You could get birthright in Israel if you have a Jewish father and not a Jewish mother.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're not half Jewish. You're fucking Jewish. And I tell you that because we live in a world right now where 75 million voters want you dead.
Yes.
So do you want to be doing jokes where I'm just asking, it's not about political correctness. It's about whatever you believe. I'll make fun of Judaism in that, like, look, I'm hung like a salami in a Jewish deli, well, we're Jews. What can I tell you? We got comedy and big dicks. Okay. But I'm not slamming me. I'm not calling Jews swindlers. I'm not, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's a question as an artist you want to ask yourself.
Yeah.
What picture do I want to be painting?
Yes, I get it. I think that I could clean it up and say that I think that Google is anti-Semitic, not even just racist, anti-Semitic, and I can prove it. Every time
I Google Schindler's List, every time I Google Schindler, you don't even have to say list. We know who Oscar Schindler was. So if you say every time I put in Google, try to Google Schindler, it returns swindler. Come on.
And then I can say, tell me it isn't racist. It's got a German name. Otto, correct. OTTOKOR. Ads, cheap shot. Okay, never mind.
It's a cheap shot, but it doesn't make Google racist. Every computer would be racist at that point.
That's true.
You see?
Yep, I know. I knew that coming out of my mouth.
But that's the mechanic of the joke. Where is the logical through line?
Yep.
The punchline has to be logical to the setup, right?
I'm actually getting to a point now by talking with you and a couple other real comedians.
Like Vanessa.
I'm hearing myself make those mistakes in real time. It's too late to catch it, but I'm hearing it.
It's okay. You can stop. Just back it up and go, oh, no, let me rewrite that. Hold on. And you can literally redo it. If you're talking to a stand-up, we already have a listening for that. We do it all the time.
Cool. But you guys are at the level where you can think something up and it comes out perfectly the first freaking time.
Here's the thing. You don't think it up. That's the thing. What happens is, I'm going to tell you what Rick Overton told me. Okay? Have you interviewed Rick yet?
He doesn't know how to reply.
I'll help him. Rick's a
Thank
very
you.
close friend. Rick is not only a very close friend of mine, but Rick was my comedy mentor. Yes. And he taught me an awful lot back when I was first starting out. I was like, when I met Rick, I was about 2.5 years in. And he caught one of my sets and said, "You're smart and you're funny, but your material's not as funny as you are."
Wow.
Right. And we just became friends and we started talking. And Rick always has these great fucking tidbits of info. And one of the things he told me was that eventually, if you're hanging out with the right writers, and working stand-ups and you're hearing the conversation a lot, eventually your brain trains itself to hear differently. Eventually, everything you hear is going to be phrased in your brain as a setup.
Yes.
Everything. Doesn't matter where you are. The waitress could come over and say, "So, how are those fried pancakes?" You will hear that as a setup. And you won't have to try. You're not going to go, "Oh, that's funny. What should I?" You will, or it's literally becomes this, it's almost reactionary that you don't write the joke.
Wow.
You're the vehicle by which the joke passes through. Because you start hearing differently, your brain reacts differently. And you will eventually just all of a sudden just start writing. Like people, like you go like, "Oh my God, you're so fast. Everything I say." It's because I hear differently than you do.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. It's a programming almost. But your brain, it's like your brain retrains itself.
I get it.
To not hear a sentence, but to hear a setup. And you're not trying, you're not listening, going, "Ooh, that's a good setup." It just happens.
Wow.
And it will happen. And it did. And I remember when it happened for me, and all of a sudden, like, just things were just firing out. And I couldn't, and I was like, "Oh yeah, everything's a setup now." And it takes 10, 12, 13 years for your brain to relearn what it's been doing for the last 25, 30, 35, 40, in your case, 109.
I wish I could get offended, but I can't.
I wish I could offend you.
I don't even care what somebody says anymore. It's like
that, by the way, that makes you the perfect artist and a respectable human being. Unless I said something or someone who you look up to and respect says something, other people's opinions don't mean anything to you. You know who taught me that? Stella Adler.
Wow.
Yeah. Nobody can tell you what's right, wrong, good, bad, hot, cold for you unless it's somebody you look up to. Then their opinion holds water. If Rick Overton said to me, "Chaz, that joke you're doing about whatever," I would, he did once. In fact, recently I had a joke about going to the car wash. And I was like angry because the fucking Mexican guy farted in the car wash. And Rick was like, "You should take it from the other side and give them the break and talk about unionizing the car wash workers instead of slamming the car wash workers." And I was like, "Ooh, interesting," but then you think about that. But if like some douchebag that I don't even know, you go, "Hey, that car wash bit?" "Yes, I do." "Why? What about it?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah.
You
You
and I
have a
both,
show to go on in 4 minutes.
so do you.
How about if you and I do a duo act where you're George Burns? Are you straight? Can you?
You want to do Gray Sheet? You want to do Gray Sheet? Am I George Burns? That could be fun. I would be down for that. That would be a lot of fun.
I would be a wonderful Gracie Allen.
That would be a lot of fucking fun. Seriously.
You have to go on a show in 4 minutes.
Yeah, I don't remember how to get into the room. I don't remember if the guy sent me a link or what. I'm going to have to find him online.
Okay.
Oh, there he is, Gary Robinson. Okay, so real quickly, you can find me. All my social media is at Richard Chassler, with the exception of my Twitter. That's at Funny Wino. And if you want to see me tonight, I'm doing a show for Gary Robinson. Then I have an 8 o'clock show for Johnny Cardinale. These are both posted on my Facebook page. And then Tuesday night, I'm doing a show for somebody else. But you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on any single Jewish woman who lets me. No, I'm just kidding.
What's your YouTube? You want people on your YouTube?
So my YouTube, I'm trying to get the name changed. The actual name of my YouTube is Oscar for Me. But if you just Google Richard Chassler YouTube, it will come up and you can find it and subscribe. But I'm just trying to change it to just my name.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Literally, I always love talking to you, Linda. We can do late nights whenever you want. If you're bored, just hit me up and say, let's go online.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out.
What'd you say your name was?
Dane Cook.
Richard Chassler, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.